Thanks. So yeah, I'll go through a bit of a presentation here. We're looking at till I guess the end of the hour,
Yes,
or
yes.
till
So, guys, we can do a presentation after which anybody has questions. We'll open it up to questions the last 10, 15 minutes. And we're going to be
yeah.
restreaming this on YouTube and all the other channels using Restream. Lovely.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen if you can enable sharing for me.
Yeah. Sagar, can you please enable sharing for Marlon? Everybody, we're closing into a number of 100, the magic 100. Before we get started, can we all give a huge welcome to Marlon in the comments in bold? Welcome, Marlon.
Thank you.
We want to embarrass you and see that blush on your face. Marlon,
Okay, I see I have access now.
okay. Marlon, before we get started, in this
Yep.
community, we tell everybody that everybody should have something called a, yeah, there we are with the welcomes in the comments. Awesome. So we tell everybody should have a hero introduction, a short introduction which comes in the beginning and end of every video. So my name is Abhi Arya, father of 2 girls, 6 dogs, husband to a superwoman, a streetcar racer turned hotelier, now social media marketer and founder of Internet Moguls. Marlon, how would you give your hero introduction to this community?
Yeah, so my name is Marlon. I'm here in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I run a YouTube marketing agency. So we help brands with their YouTube strategy and distribution. So helping brands with the organic side of video and the paid advertising of YouTube ads. And I also do a cooking show. So I have a cooking show on YouTube called Bachelor on a Budget, where I teach people how to make healthy meals affordably. And that's grown to about 60,000 subscribers. And
Nice.
I am married to a beautiful wife, and I got a cute little dog who's it's a golden retriever, but it's a service dog in training. So my wife and I are volunteering to raise it. It's become a service dog for someone in need for the
Wow.
next year and a half. Yeah, that's a bit about me.
That is
But
awesome. Oh,
yeah.
and big question I have for you.
Mhm.
Does your wife still allow you to use that channel with the same name?
Good question. Uh, so yeah, definitely need a branding change there. But
Coming
she's
up.
allowed it for now.
Ex-bachelor on a budget.
Yeah, exactly.
There you
Married
go.
on a
Oh,
budget just doesn't have the same ring to it. So.
it doesn't get you right.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Over to you, my friend.
Okay. So here's some things that we're going to learn: how to optimize your YouTube channel, how to create a YouTube ad that converts, how to actually set up YouTube ad campaigns, how to get a 4-to-1 return on ad spend with advertising, and how you can repurpose influencer content. If we have time, the last part we might be pressed for time, especially if we want to get some questions. But I'd love to know maybe if how many people have YouTube channels. Maybe they drop some comments in the chats if they have a YouTube channel, or can even post it or write the name. And Abby, maybe you can mention as we're going. I'd be curious.
Absolutely. Guys, anybody who has a YouTube channel, please tell us what your channel is about in the comments. Lovely.
Cool. Okay, so I've already mentioned a bit about myself. Previously, I worked at the world's largest YouTube network, Broadband TV. So there we had over 85,000 different YouTube partners, and my job was to help them grow. And while there, I started that cooking show. And at the beginning, like I got my first 5,000 subscribers, and so it grew relatively quickly in the first year because I was able to kind of implement the things that I was learning and the things that I was helping clients. So there at BBTV, I was handling large music channels and channels that we had one called Major Lazer, a music artist that was the first music artist to hit 1 billion views. That was an independent music artist on their video, Lean On. And basically, with this 5,000 subscribers, someone asked me to give a presentation on YouTube marketing. And from that presentation, someone asked me to do some consultation, and then that consultation led to be a monthly thing, and started to get some more inquiries for this. And that was kind of the start of the agency Vireo Video. So we're now 4 years. We got a small team here in Vancouver, British Columbia, and with the remote workers abroad. And I'm certified in YouTube, in audience development by YouTube, and in digital rights. This is a few of the awesome clients that we've got to work with over the past few years. Okay, let's get into the more organic side of YouTube marketing. So why YouTube? What's so great about YouTube? So some buzzwords here that we'll kind of dig into. YouTube is discoverable, it's persuasive, it's shareable, monetizable, and scalable. So let's dig into what all this means. So on YouTube, people are actively searching for content. They're searching for how to do something, they're searching for entertainment, to learn a new skill, to be inspired. And so you can be there to provide them expertise. You can be discovered in YouTube search, and your videos can be even discovered in Google search. You've probably heard this. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. And that's how I get a majority of my traffic on my videos, is that people are typing in the search terms that I've tried to rank for, and my videos show up. And also social platforms are prioritizing video. It's persuasive. So by showcasing video, people can see so much more about you and about your product, about your business, than they can with any other form of media. If you think about a blog post or an image ad, or a short form piece of video, it just doesn't convey the same as you can with a full long form YouTube video. They can see who you are, it develops trust, they can get a good sense of your personality and the value that you provide. Just by having video in your email, it can increase the click-through rate by 3 times. And yeah, just by presenting yourself on camera to your audience, it just allows you to gain a lot of trust. And ultimately, to be able to sell things to your audience, to be able to market a service, you have to have trust. And it's shareable. It just allows you to reach a much bigger audience. So videos typically are shared 1,200% more than link and text posts combined. And so on YouTube, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to be adding your content to playlists. They're going to be sharing that out to different sources. And you can actually see, YouTube gives you all this analytics where you can actually see these traffic sources, where people are coming from, and what are the most valuable ones in terms of how people are staying on your content. And it's monetizable. So most of the social platforms do not pay independent creators. Facebook pays large publishers some percentage of the ad revenue, but YouTube will actually allow you to have multiple sources of revenue. So you have your YouTube ads. This one platform, even though I'm not as consistent as I'd like to be, as I focus more on my business for the YouTube channel, it's actually become a passive income stream for me, and has been that way for the past 3 years, where it is pretty much consistently paid my rent every month. And I live in a pretty expensive city in Vancouver. And so it's a pretty beautiful thing to have a true passive income. And it definitely takes a lot to kind of build that up and get an audience. But once you have a library of content, that kind of content continues to perform. It's some of my videos from 3 years ago, even 4 years ago, get 30,000 views a month. And that turns into a couple $100 on a monthly basis. And so it can be pretty significant when you're building up a library of that, because some videos are just going to continue to perform year after year. If the value is kind of evergreen, it continues to provide value to people, and it's not time sensitive. And then by having this audience, we've seen the data that people who come from YouTube typically have greater transaction value and a shorter time period to making a sale. So meaning when they go on your website, they are quicker to actually make a purchase, and their purchases typically are larger. So that's makes sense because with YouTube, as I was saying earlier, it allows you to gain more trust. It allows you to show off your brand and personality. It allows people to look into reviews on the platform, see video reviews, which is something that we've been investing a lot into for our clients, is getting influencer reviews of specific products. So this is kind of some of the ways that people are making income. Another is that they have this audience and they are able to go through channel memberships. So this is when you have a large audience, YouTube allows you to monetize that by people contributing. They'll pay $5, $10 a month, and you give them additional value adds by providing them with additional content. So lots of different ways that you can really monetize your YouTube channel. And it's scalable. So with your YouTube channel, you can have a video that is 3 years old. And like I said, that video can then continue to generate views. And once you have already an audience, you can scale that up by doubling down on the paid advertising side. And so you can do remarketing to people who've already had a touch point with you, meaning they're not a cold audience. They've been engaged by you, that you've maybe got them to subscribe, maybe they've liked a video. You can retarget advertisements to just people who have seen your video, seen a specific video, who've subscribed, who've liked a video, who've shared a video. And so this can be a really low-hanging fruit for businesses that already have a YouTube channel going, and you want to kind of have a targeted ad to people who've already had a touch point with you. Remarketing is the low-hanging fruit for businesses. Typically, you'll have 15 to 30% of your audience who will add a product to their cart and then just abandon. And you can also remarket to those people. And that's typically the low-hanging fruit for remarketing. These videos on your channel, you get just so much more information than the other platforms give you. So audience retention, this is one that you wanted to look into. This is showing how long people are actually staying on your videos. And so you get a total time and actual percentage. And you can actually see where your audience is most engaged and least engaged, if you have too long of an intro and people actually fall off, or if you had a really high interest in a big reveal, maybe closer to the end, or if you said certain thing or certain phrasing and you notice 30% of your audience dropped off, you can actually dig into the audience retention on all of your videos on an individual basis, not just the channel average, and see how am I engaging people, where am I losing people. And that's really what the YouTube platform optimizes for, is for people that are staying on. It's their goal to keep people on the platform because that's how they make money, is by more people seeing ads. And so it's your goal to get people to click onto the video, so having a good click-through rate, and then staying watching the video, and ideally watching more of your videos as well. So here is a simple kind of premise to building out a video strategy. So like with any strategy, you want to identify your goals. So what are you trying to achieve? Is this to sell a product? Is this to build up a audience that you are going to monetize in the future? Are you trying to get access to the YouTube partnership program? So to be able to monetize on YouTube, you have to be in the YouTube partner program. That is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. By knowing your goals, it allows you to focus on the type of content that's most likely to get you there. You also want to know who exactly you are targeting. You can't have multiple audiences and do really well on YouTube. That's actually been a hindrance of my personal YouTube channel. While it has grown to 60,000 subscribers, a challenge for me is that when I started the channel, I was an omnivore, so I ate meat and vegetables and grains and legumes. But as I've learned more about the food industry and animal agriculture industry, my diet has switched to a predominantly plant-based diet, and so has the YouTube channel. So people who subscribe for an oven roast and ribs aren't as interested in watching a video about a vegan shepherd's pie. And so that creates a rift where people who have subscribed in the past don't go on to click those videos that are plant-based videos because they're not as interested, and it doesn't have that same audience retention because they're not as interested in the content. And so take that as a lesson that you want to have a kind of defined audience, a very niche audience of who you're able to deliver exceptional value to. And that's kind of the next point, is you want to establish your unique value proposition. What are you able to provide to the YouTube audience that other people can't provide? What's your unique points? So this could be that you are super engaging to people, you are humorous, or you're super insightful, you have industry knowledge, or it's that you're able to invest a lot into creating really amazing like production value or really fun videos, or you have access to people with a lot of influence that you can bring on to your show. Lots of things like that will make a big impact. And so you want to establish what those things are that you're going to be providing to your audience that other people can't do. And then content type. So this is some terminology, push, pull, pow. And you kind of want to break down the different content that you're going to be producing into these segments, or at least thinking about this when you're producing content. So push is content that you would consistently push out to your audience. It might be a series that you're already doing, a series that you've tested out and people seem to be attracted to it, and you're putting that out to your audience. Pull is more evergreen. So pulling is content that is like how to, or people are typing in terms to find this content. And so you're pulling in new audiences. This is the content that I tend to prioritize because it's evergreen. It's content that can continue to perform. And while it can be challenging to rank, if you provide a really good high value video, it's better than the other videos out there, then it can allow you to rank for those videos for a really long time and create continued passive income off of those, and have continued audience that you can then market to other future products or services. And then POW. POW is something that you would do maybe once a quarter, once a year. It's kind of a video that you invest a bit more into, invest more time, more resources. It's something that is designed to almost go viral in a sense. And so an example of this, someone who does this really well is Mr. Beast. He is a YouTuber that's been on the platform about 10 years, and he's a good one to look at. Like if you were to go back into the beginning of his channel, he basically created like 100+ videos before he got his first 5,000 subscribers, something like that. And the videos weren't definitely not of high quality, but he kept on putting out content and wasn't worried about perfection, just putting it out there and learning the platform, learning how to improve the content. And now he is in like the 30 million plus subscribers, and his channel is able to do consistent POW videos. So this is kind of like a hyper POW or a POW on steroids, but he did a video last year or early in the year for when he hit 20 million subscribers, he did a campaign on 20 million trees planted. And so basically they had a goal to get 20 million people to donate $1 per tree. They worked with an organization, and this video got massive amounts of traffic, massive amounts of people contributing to this campaign, and actually got lots of other YouTubers involved supporting this, giving additional information about the program, and they were able to actually reach this and have 20 million trees planted. That's kind of, yeah, like a hyper POW or super POW, but he's someone who's able to do POW like every single video, because he's basically taken all the money he's made from YouTube ad revenue and just redirected it back into the platform. And it's pretty amazing to see that every video that he produces gets consistently 2 to 10 million plus views. So here's some things to think about in writing a title. So when writing a title, you want to think of two main things, clickability and searchability. So clickability meaning how are you inspiring someone to actually click? The nature of the content, is it actually interesting? Is it written well? That's going to inspire someone to actually click on the video, to give their time to watch your video. Then in searchability, you want to think of what are the main 1 to 2 keywords that you're trying to rank for, or the compound term, like if it's like a how to do XYZ. What are those terms that you're trying to rank for, and making sure to include 1 or 2 of those. If it's a push video, you might not have some of those terms, but it'd still be, you still want to be mindful of what are those things people are searching for where your content can be discovered. And what you don't want to do is try and game the system by basically giving people clickbait that's not actually true. So you don't want to deceive people. You want to make sure that it's highly relevant. So this is kind of some good things to do and some things to avoid. So obviously avoiding not using search terms would not be ideal. You want to avoid using generic adjectives like awesome or best, unless you see that the search volume actually says that. There are cases like that for cooking videos, for example, where someone will actually type in like best shepherd's pie, something like that, because that's actually a common search term. And so you can go and do that keyword research and identify what those terms people are typing in to describe. But otherwise, you want to use more interesting adjectives and verbs to describe the content. So how do you actually do the research? So a couple tools I have listed here. vidIQ is a free Chrome extension. They have paid options. We use some of the paid options, but even the free options are pretty great. It basically allows you to, well, there's quite a few tools on it. It allows you to type in a term and see the estimated search volume and also a competition score. So, and that's what we do when we're looking for relevant terms, is finding ones that have high search volume, that are relevant, and low competition, meaning there's an opportunity there to rank for those terms. vidIQ also lets you see other people's channels, the videos, what tags they're actually using, and how those tags are actually ranking. And you can see that on your video too. When you open up a video, you can see what tags are actually driving you traffic and where you're actually ranking for. You can have cases where you put in a really long specific term where there might actually be no search volume, and you can see that you're ranking for that. So don't be deceived by that, don't be deceived by putting in really long form search terms that don't have any search volume. You might be ranking #1 for that, but if nobody's actually looking for that, it's just the exact title that you put in, then it's not going to be as valuable. The Google search bar. So when I'm thinking of videos for myself or clients, and I have a video title idea, what I do is I type that into Google and see what are people discovering just on an article or website basis. What's the things that come up? What are people clicking on? Because that's pretty good indication of what people are interested in outside of the YouTube platform. And so that could be indication of, hey, maybe there's not a video created on this exact format or this kind of methodology, or hey, this is a great idea for a listicle, like a top 10 video. And so it can just give it additional insights by using that. YouTube search bar. You also have auto suggestions here. You can see what people are actually typing in to YouTube. And so you can type in your main keyword, what the video is about, and then see what follows that up. You can get a lot of video ideas just from this. And it's super simple. You don't need any external tools. And Google Keyword Planner. So this is one that you need a Google Ads account to be able to access. And this will allow you to type in a term and see the monthly search volume that Google is seeing when people are typing in for specific areas. And you can also see cost per click. So anyone who is familiar with Google search ads, so the text-based ads that you see in Google, or display ads or video ads, will be familiar with Google Keyword Planner. But it's a valuable free tool, but you do need a Google Ads account to set up. What you can do is you can basically, if you want access to this, is set up an account and on Google, and then basically they make you go through this process of setting up an initial campaign. You can pause that right after you launch that and basically get access to the Google Keywords Planner. This is what it actually looks like in the back end. So in this video, you can see the different terms that are ranking here and how a video is ranking. This is a free tool we have. So if you want to, what you can do is you can just take your camera and hold it up to the screen at the QR code, and that will actually bring a link. And this tool, it allows you to type in a keyword, and then you're going to get over 200 different video topic ideas. And these are just ideas, like I wouldn't say use the exact title, change this around, but this will basically change the words into here. So a complete guide to enterprise planning, or a complete guide to video marketing, or let's see, forget enterprise planning, 5 replacements you need to jump on, or forget YouTube marketing, 5 replacements you need to jump on. Maybe that wouldn't be good for me, but you can get the idea that there's can just spark ideas for additional content, and you can just make a copy of that. So free tool if you're interested. So here are the elements of a high performing video. So click-through rate, audience retention, watch time, engagement, early signals, and tastemakers. I'll go through each of these. So with click-through rate, I mentioned a bit about it. This is what it can look like in the back end here, where you can see what the click-through rate is based on. You have your total impressions, how many times your video shows up on YouTube in the search results and suggested videos. What's the percentage of people that actually click on that? And how you can influence your click-through rate is, it's going to be the nature of the content. Is this content interesting to people? Is it time sensitive, meaning this is newsworthy? They're more likely to have to click on it because they're not going to watch that a month down the line because it's time sensitive. Or is this ranking at the top of YouTube search? You're going to have a higher click-through rate there. So it's the nature of the content. It's your title, the clickability that I was mentioning, and the thumbnail. So the thumbnail is something that really influences your click-through rate. It's probably the main thing because if you think about it, when you're on the YouTube platform, that's what you see. You see that image, and you see that typically before you see the title. It's what attracts you. And so you want to always be making a custom thumbnail when you are creating or when you're putting out content onto the YouTube platform. What you don't want to do is just have a video uploaded and then just click one of the preset ones that are just a screen grab from your video. I already mentioned a bit about audience retention. So that's the average percentage of the video. Watch time, that is total minutes watched. That's how they calculate it. And so how long people are actually watching your content for overall. And like I was saying earlier, to be into the YouTube Partner Program, you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time accumulated over a year. So people need to have watched your content for 4,000 hours in total. Another important signal is engagements. And so engagements are going to be comments, likes, shares. So you can encourage your audience to comment by asking them questions or asking them for feedback in the comments and engaging back with them. It is not as important as signal as audience retention or click-through rate, but definitely an important metric that the algorithm is going to look at. Then we have early signals. So early signals mean when your video is first released, this is when the platform's going to be testing it out. They'll put it out a bit organically and seeing how people interact with it. Are people clicking on the video and are they watching the video? And so what you want to do is get your relevant audience, your engaged audience to watch that video in the first 24 hours and the first week. In the first week, you're going to have a little new symbol next to your video. And so you want to get an audience to that video as early as you can that is relevant. You don't want people who are going to just click and open the video and then not watch and stay to watch the content. And then tastemakers. So this is influencers or blog writers or high domain authority websites that might post your content. All of this can be a factor for external sources bringing your video, people to watch your video on YouTube. Reddit is a great example of this. There's definitely some strict self-promotion policies with Reddit, so you want to be careful. But if you have people coming from Reddit onto a YouTube video, that's a good indicator. That was actually a big part of my early success with YouTube. Is I found a community that I had to engage with and provide value to. It was Eat Cheap and Healthy community, and I would share the recipe and the video, and that brought a lot of traffic coming from Reddit to YouTube. But that shows YouTube that this is a valuable traffic, that this is starting new sessions, and so it's showing people that it's showing the algorithm that people are engaged in this content, and so they're more likely to promote that and get you more organic impressions. So showing up more on YouTube search and in suggested videos. Okay, how are we doing for time here? Let me just check. Okay, we got some time. So
Absolutely
YouTube
fine.
advertising. Cool. YouTube advertising. So I'm going to try not to go too in the weeds here because I don't know how many people are actually using YouTube ads, but I'll present a bit about it, some of the opportunities, and I'm happy to dig in deeper if you got more advanced questions.
Yeah. Sure. We just, audience, everyone, 103 people over here. How many people are actually using YouTube ads? Dia Cautious says yes. Oh, lovely. Awesome.
Nice.
Great. Please go ahead, Marlon. Thanks.
Okay. So the struggle that people are seeing when they're thinking about advertising is that you might already be advertising on Facebook, but you may have noticed that the return on investment over the past couple of years have been shrinking. And so YouTube can potentially be that opportunity. There's limited organic reach. So not that you can't have massive organic potential on YouTube, but wherever you're at with your YouTube channel, that's your organic reach. And so you can go beyond that with YouTube advertising. And typically, I mean, it depends what audience, but for like North American audience, it's going to be anywhere from 1 to 10 cents per view. So that's like USD looking at that. But if you, that's the cost of reaching someone in North America or Western countries. So it depends on how much advertisers are willing to pay to get in front of your audience. And so you want to be mindful of that. If you, who is your audience, because that's also going to be how much advertisers are willing to pay to get in front of that audience, and how much you're going to have to pay to get in front of it if you are the advertiser. To get in front of a audience in Vietnam is going to be a lot cheaper than having an audience in Australia, for example. Just because higher transaction value, higher kind of economic status. So some things to be mindful when you're advertising, or when you're thinking about who you're actually trying to reach, because some CPMs, the cost per 1,000 view of demographics, are going to be higher. And people are wondering, are YouTube ads expensive? Kind of just went in, that's what it can look like for North American audiences. I imagine in India, it's going to be significantly cheaper to reach people. So some stats about YouTube: there's over 1 billion YouTube ads, over 1 billion active users on the platform. They get 5 billion monthly video views per day, sorry. 80 plus countries and 70 different languages. It is the world's largest YouTube network, and it allows for just a much more immersive experience than some of the other platforms. And as I said earlier, you can just convey so much more that allows people to have a deeper brand recognition. Let me skip this. So for engagement, in terms of selling, videos are going to engage your brain more than other media. It allows you to provide value to your audience. So if you are creating a how-to video and then tell them about your product at the end, or you do a free mini series that you're providing value, this allows you to build a relationship. And there's kind of a need for reciprocation. You know, when you do someone a favor, typically they feel like they want to reciprocate back. At least I do, and I know that's pretty consistent with most people. And so you want to think about this when you're providing value to your audience. How are you creating that relationship with people? And by creating that relationship, if you are selling a product, you are starting off with just free content. Then it might go to giving a piece of a lead magnet in exchange for an email, and then it might be a small transaction, a $30 transaction, and then it might be upselling to a higher ticket item. So you know, you've probably seen this funnel, or if you signed up for services, people trying to move you along through that. But by creating a relationship with your audience and by providing significant value, that will happen for you as well. So a stat here: viewers who watched ads for 30 seconds or more were 23 times more likely to subscribe to a channel, watch more videos, or share that content. And so just a stat by Think with Google. Going to the return on investment. So there's still lots of opportunity with the YouTube advertising platform, especially certain demographics. It hasn't reached its full capacity, where you've definitely seen that cost to reach people, or that cost per conversion, shrinking on other platforms. And so we've seen a great return on ad spend. For our clients, we have an average of 3.5 return on ad spend. So for every dollar we spend on advertisements, we get $3.5 back. This is a metric to just show traffic coming from YouTube or sales. So this was one that we actually increased by 3,000% for traffic coming from YouTube. And so this is a brand that we're helping. And you can just see in comparison from the different traffic sources what's bringing the most sales. So obviously Pinterest, not as valuable. Twitter, not as valuable. So with the persuasion, it allows you to demonstrate your product or service. It allows you to show what other people are thinking of your product. So testimonials, those are great to show, especially in an advertisement focused video. And it can increase that, increase that product desire. So if a picture is worth 1,000 words, how much do you think a video is worth? I won't bother to wait for the answers, but a video would be worth 1.8 million words. So they did the math. If you look at it, one picture equals 1,000 words times 30 frames per second equals 30,000 words. If you times that by a minute, 60 seconds, we got 1.8 million. It's kind of a bit of a silly way to look at it, but that's kind of what I'm talking about. It just allows you to convey so much more than an image can. So going into YouTube ads, this is the different format, at least for mobile, of what the content actually looks like when it's displaying to a viewer. And so YouTube masthead, most of you are not going to use this. Typically, they're pretty expensive. This shows up at the top of the YouTube homepage. Actually, it used to be like $100,000 for an advertiser. So you would only have the large, like Coca-Cola's, or in this case, Dior, actually being on the front there. Now they've opened it up to larger audiences, but it's not, you don't own the entire page. It's based on how much you actually pay for a per impression basis. You have Google Preferred, so this is the premium types of channels, so channels that YouTube has vetted that get consistently high amounts of views. Well, most people are going to be doing as TrueView and TrueView Discovery. So for bumper ads, this is more brand awareness, 6-second, 15-second ads. It's not going to be that valuable for most brands to do this. They are cheaper, but when doing this, it allows you to kind of convey one point, one like value prop, one thing about your product, or one kind of story, but like a micro story. For TrueView InStream, this is the main one. So TrueView InStream, you pay for when someone watches 30 seconds. You only pay when someone watches at least 30 seconds or clicks on your video. And so this can be great for all forms of the funnel, for awareness, consideration, or getting people to take action. And yeah, that's where that ranges from 1 to 10 cents per view. For TrueView Discovery, so instead of playing before a video, this will actually show up in the top of YouTube search results or on the side of suggested videos, and you actually have to click on that video to watch it. And so while this will have a link that you can click on, the TrueView Discovery will not have a link. It will take you to the video, and you'll watch it in the same way that you see a organic video. So it allows viewers to comment and like and engage. So this is that example of the YouTube masthead, very expensive to be on there. Or this one for desktop. So pretty much mentioned all of this, but in addition to cost per view, you can also bid by cost per acquisition. So you put in that you're trying to reach people for less than $20, for example. And because you know your product value for every conversion or acquisition that you get, it's worth more than that. And so you can put that number in, and that gives the algorithm a baseline of what they're trying to reach people for. And so basically, if the platform is showing that it is reaching people for less than that, it's going to continue to optimize for those audiences. So here's what this looks like in TrueView for Action. So you don't get a lot of text here. So like this, grow with video, that's pretty much maximizing how much text you have and learn more. But you have a whole video to convey yourself in. And so you want to think in that first 30 seconds, how are you hooking your audience? How are you attracting them in? You want to make sure that you speak to who you're trying to appeal to, and make sure that you've attracted them to want to watch through. TrueView Discovery. So again, this is where it shows up in the search results, in the watch page, or on the home page. Can look like that. And you also pay on in terms of a cost per view. So when someone watches the video or clicks, well, when they click the thumbnail to actually watch. So next, kind of going into influencers. So this is an example of how you can leverage influencers for YouTube ads. This is one example of a creator who she was very premium. She's one of the biggest beauty influencers. I'm not going to say her name for sensitivity of client, but she cost over $200,000 to use. And so she is on the biggest end for like pricing. you can get someone at $20, you can get someone for free in exchange for products. It's just kind of to convey the high value, where this is the Shopify backend. This one influencer, even though it's cost a crazy amount of money, it was able to generate over $860,000 in sales just from using a promo code. And this is trackable. So this is where the promo code shows. Users would type that in and get a 20% discount, but that generated 4.3 times return on investment. So for every dollar that was invested into this, they got $4.30 back. I'm not sure why that slide was in between the advertising, but we got some formatting issues. So pricing for discovery in display, typically on average, you're going to see a higher cost per view than in search. In search is going to be at the top of the YouTube bar, where in display is going to be suggested videos. I've seen these prices actually shrink down over the last 8 months, but this is if you're looking, including the premium tier and the lower tiers of reaching people. Bumper ads, the 6-second ads, you pay by CPM, so you pay per thousand, every 1,000 impressions. And again, it's mostly used for awareness. So unless you're a large enterprise, I don't see it being that valuable. Here's a campaign that we ran in September 12th to September 23rd you're looking at. So it was a 1-month campaign for a course launch. And so this campaign, it's designed to sell courses and generate leads. And so in terms of a return on ad spend, here's an example. So you see the opt-in one, it was a video opt-in. And so the goal is to still have the opt-in generate actual conversion value in terms of sales, but you're getting a high amount of actual email subscribes. And that costs $1.87 per email, but still actually had a conversion value, a positive conversion value. And so this campaign to generate emails actually didn't cost us anything to generate emails. It actually generated us a return here, so 1.13. So we had that 0.3 times return on ad spend after we broke even. Then for sales, that's generating 4.81. And so if you look at the average here, we're looking at 3.37, or sorry, 4.41 for this campaign, and 3.37s for the total overall. These are the different ads. So when you're setting up a campaign, you want to be doing split testing. So multiple ad formats, multiple targeting types, and that way you would get some insights into what's performing. In this case, they were pretty consistent. So you can see here that they had a pretty closely matched cost per conversion, relatively similar conversion rate. So both of these ads worked pretty well. And here's what we're looking at: 8 cents cost per view. And so these are the things that you want to optimize for. You want to look for larger variables. Is there, like, if there was a 10% conversion rate, then either you're doing really well, or it might be that you have just a low amount spent, and so there might only be one conversion and it's skewed data. Other things to look for are view rate. That is how many people are actually clicking to or not skipping and watching the video. That's what that percentage is. So how relevant are the audiences that you're targeting? While you only pay if someone watches 30 seconds or clicks the video, you're going to end up paying a slightly higher amount if your audience, if YouTube sees that who you're trying to target is not actually watching the videos. So if you were to have like a 5% view rate or 2% view rate, then your targeting is probably off, or you're not hooking people. So in terms of targeting, here's some of the ways that you can target people. So the pretty standard ways: you have demographics of age, gender, parental status. It even gives things like income, and location based. So typically for demographics, when setting up ad campaigns, I prefer to go wide for demographics, unless you know that you're only targeting a specific gender because it's a male or female or transgender product, or parental status, you know you're only going for parents. But unfortunately, about 30 to 40% of the traffic is going to be unknown. It'll actually say unknown. And so this is why I typically keep it wide, unless you know that you're very specifically only targeting a very precise audience, because there's the other forms of targeting are more likely to narrow that down for you. And you can also narrow that down after. So you start a bit wider and narrow down based on what the data says. So some of the forms of cold audience traffic or targeting is you have affinity audiences. And so this is targeting people based on their interest and their habits. And so YouTube and Google, they have information about people. And so they know what people are interested in based on what they're doing on Google, what they're searching for, what they're watching. And so they're able to get videos in front of those audiences. Similar audiences, so this is, it's still cold because you might have a similar audience that is similar to subscribers, or similar to people who watch this video, or similar to people who have liked your content. Similar audiences are basically finding people who match a similar demographic and characteristics and psychographics. So it can be a good one to test out. And then custom audiences. So this is kind of like a combination of interest and habits, and also typing in specific keywords. So warm audience targeting, you can target people based on the specific topic of video that people are watching in the moment. So your video will show up in front of that topic. Keywords, so you are putting in keywords that people are typing into YouTube or Google, and your video is going to show up the next time they are watching a video, or even at the top of YouTube search when someone types in that specific keyword. And placements. So placements are specific videos, so you can actually select specific videos and specific channels. So if you have a competitor or someone who is in a similar space, or just someone that you know has the audience that you're trying to reach, you can select those channels and those videos to get your ad in front. The more premium, so like the preferred advertisers who have been vetted, have provided consistent, valuable content, have a high amount of subscribers, they're going to be a lot more expensive, but you can only actually do placements if a channel is monetized. So if they have 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time, and have applied for the partnership program and have chosen to monetize that video. And then hot leads. So this is going to be the ones who've already had a touch point with you. So video remarketing, that is, you're targeting people based on they've watched your video, they subscribed, they shared, they liked, or watched an advertisement, and then you're following them up with another. Website remarketing, so you can retarget people if they have watched your, if they've been on your website and seen anything overall, they've just been on your website, or if they maybe delved into a specific blog, you can target just those people. Or if you have a campaign where they added to cart and you want to just retarget those people, or maybe they checked out your case study. And so they've already kind of went past the initial discovery. They're now looking at reviews. You can retarget those people. And so you can set up these various lists and then see how they perform. In-market audience, this could be a cold audience, but they are meaning it can be hot lead, but cold audience meaning they haven't necessarily had a touch point with you, but they're in the market to buy this. So they are looking for a specific service. They're looking for hotels in Vancouver, and your ad can show up for them. Or they are looking for a specific product on Google, and Google recognizes that they're looking to buy something, and then you are trying to get in front of those people. So if they're looking for a specific type of software, for example, you can get in front of those people. This is kind of showing how people move through. So you have your window shoppers, your in-store shopper, and your checkout shopper, kind of based on those audiences that we just went over. Already covered how you can remarket people, so I'll skip that. Here was another campaign. So this is just remarketing. And I kind of want to highlight the value per conversion here. And so this is every conversion. That's how much it's actually generating. This is how many total conversions. And so while you have like, it might look like a small conversion rate, these are actually generating a significant conversion value. So that's the actual, this is how much was spent. So $8,000 was spent, but you actually have 46,000 generated in tracked purchases. And so that's what I kind of say when remarketing is the low-hanging fruit. And in this case, it's 2 campaigns. So we have website audiences and people who have subscribed or liked or commented or watched certain videos on YouTube. So how are we doing for time here? 9 o'clock. So I can dig in more. We can go into FAQs.
I think, yeah, FAQ&A would be awesome. So guys, okay. I have been taking notes since the beginning of this. Marlon, thank you so much. And guys, are you people enjoying this session? Love to know in the comments below, how much are you enjoying the session?
Yeah, I got some actually a good one about it being theory, or no call to action. I'm curious if you got a question that is relevant of something specific you're trying to learn that I can dig into.
Sure. So guys, we have time for about 3 to 4 questions. So, okay, let's see. How to increase YouTube viewers and subscribers as a beginner? I bet you get that a lot.
Yeah, so pretty general question. And a lot of things that we kind of went over. So developing that YouTube strategy. So figuring out who your exact audience is, what's your unique value proposition, and then going through actually in optimizing your videos. So doing all the features. So having in your titles and your keywords, your descriptions, using the features like playlists and cards and end screens. All of those features are going to play a role in actually being able to start having the platform optimize your content. You want to share your content out to different sources. If you have an audience somewhere else, share this content, put it out to your email list, put this content to your Facebook page. And you can also test out using YouTube advertising to do beyond what you can organically.
So like they say, how do I build a good physique? Go to the gym, eat right, sleep on time. So everything has multiple facets to it. There's no one thing that can fix everything. How about I give $200,000 to Marlon Doll and he gives me back 680?
Sorry?
How about I give you $200,000 and you give me back 680?
Oh yeah. I wish I had the same influences as that creator did.
But Marlon, what do you think about this strategy? So 200,000 is obviously, it depends on what you're selling and your product and all of that. But yeah, for smaller creators who we could maybe afford, so say for example, I can afford $500 to launch a product of mine. So at any level, can you find creators who are ready to collaborate with you and give you a shout out or post a video for an affordable price?
Yeah. So we worked with a brand called Hum Nutrition. They are a supplement company, mostly focused on women, but they do have other products as well. And this is where we're basically able to connect with micro influencers and get them to review a product. So basically just the cost of the product. And so these were people that had less than 10,000 subscribers, but we're able to deliver in viewership and sales, and you're just paying in terms of the product cost. it also depends, like, is your product actually interesting for making good content? Because people won't want to actually review your product if it doesn't make for great content.
Right.
For free or in exchange for the product. But if you have something that has a high product value, then you certainly can do that in exchange. But typically what I do is when we're doing influencer marketing campaigns is we look at an influencer and say, okay, well, what's the cost that they're presenting to us? And what does that look like in terms of cost per view? And so we'll actually
Right.
go into their last 4 videos and look at the average cost per view based on they're getting X amount of views on a video. You divide that by the amount of videos that you're looking at. So we look at the last 4 videos that they uploaded and then get that cost per view or cost per that CPM, cost per 1,000 views. And then that way you have kind of a baseline of what you're comparing from one influencer to another or one traffic source to another.
So assuming that you get that number correct, and you get one traffic source is your own YouTube ads, and the other one is the influencer, right? And with my YouTube ads, I can, like you showed, there's lots of targeting I can do. I can reach out to anybody. And with this influencer, I reach out to his audience. Is there a better, or like, for example, like Casey Neistat the other day, I told you my fascination with e-bikes, and I'm like, for 45 days I'm researching an e-bike, and then I see Casey Neistat riding the Super 73, and I'm like, I found my e-bike. So uh, so although Super 73 was giving ads all over the place and all of that, it did grab my attention. But when I saw the influencer, I was like, I need to buy this because Casey's got it. So makes an impact with influencers. I mean, what's better? Is there a better or a worse strategy?
You've kind of highlighted the best strategy, in my opinion, is combining those 2 things. So what we would do is we would take that content that we got for free or for a small cost or just a fair price for the micro influencers, and then we're able to use that content in our advertisement. So we get the permission to use that and then able to use that content in the actual advertisements. And then that just conveys so much more as an ad. So we'll remove them addressing their audience. We'll remove the thing where they talk about the promo code, and we'll just use the things that the good things that they're saying about the product, kind of like a video testimonial, but it has
Right.
that additional power of the influence. So that in combination can work really well. And that's where we're seeing some amazing return on ad spends for clients.
Also, do you think it's a good search strategy? Because if I'm searching for a product and I see 10 other people have reviewed it, instead of just just the company blowing its own horn, it's
Yeah, I mean, in this case, there was, or one case for a client, they had a review that they took the product wrong. It wasn't how to actually use the product, and so they didn't have a. It was more so like kind of a clickbait thing. But this video actually ranked for when you typed in their brand name and review, and so our goal was to kind of just we didn't want to like go to legal or anything like that. We didn't want to take it down. We just wanted to show the true testimonials. And so influencers aren't going to, I mean, I'm sure there are influencers that will lie, but you want to get authentic reviews. And most of the
right.
influencers will only do authentic reviews.
Sure.
If there's a case where they don't like the product, you say, okay, don't put up the video if that's the case. But with this campaign, we got over 80 video reviews of the product, and so it just overwhelmed the
Nice.
search results.
80 video reviews from 80 different YouTube channels.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So this could also, if I so either you hire an agency that knows what they're doing, like yours, or just individually make a list of 10 people and email them and tell them why they should work with you.
Yeah, yeah, you can get people's prices. Bigger ones are going to have managers that you have to go through, and they might also have a separate agency. And so, there's for my channel, I get 5 emails a week from different brands. Usually, it's like kind of cheap products that
Sure.
it's just not worth for me to spend the time creating a video on. But if it makes for really interesting content, or it has a high product value that it's worth to do a video for, then you can certainly do that. But otherwise, expect that you probably have to pay, but you'll pay less if the product makes for interesting content, or if the person's already using the product or similar products, or is just interested in it.
Got it. Marlon, this has been really amazing, and the questions cannot stop because there's just so much information out there. And this was really good. It opened up a lot of ideas and possibilities for all of us. So, guys, can we all give a big, 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 bold capital letter thank you, Marlon, in the comments, please? I know you had a late
Thank you.
night and I know you have a busy day ahead. I really appreciate you taking the time out for all of us over here.
Yeah, for sure. Happy to. Hopefully it's been valuable to some people, and yeah, I appreciate everyone coming on too for your evening. So
100%. We're going to edit this recording and put it in the learning management system for all of these people who've missed out or want to see the recording again. Guys, it's going to be in the learning management system. And yeah, this has been fantastic, Marlon. Thank you very much again for your time. And we look forward to having you back soon, or maybe getting you to India sometime to meet all of these amazing people at an event when the events finally open up.
that'd be awesome. Okay, thank you all. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we promised you, this was Marlon Doll. I'm just going to stop the sharing. Uh, Sagar, can you stop restreaming?